Today we're going to talk about the stress cycle and how it links to breathing, or in our case, the lack of breathing. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke. This is Minke Wellness. There is a direct connection. There's a panic button in our system when we can't breathe, okay? Because breathing is so important and we'll die in minutes without oxygen. So if we have any restriction in our breathing, it pushes that panic button. I think most people are running around with their panic button being pushed just a little bit, every single day, all the time. Okay, and that increases our stress level beyond our ability to function properly. Okay, this is really hurting us. In fact, I'm going to suggest it's even killing us, that we can't get a deep breath, and it's pushing that panic button, and we live in this state of panic. Let me illustrate some of this or show this to you from a standpoint of, we've talked about this before when we talk about the diaphragm and breathing down. And if my digestive system is really restricted or inflamed, and it's all, even tight, and I try to breathe down with my diaphragm, and I hit and it restricts my movement, I immediately go into a panic response. Oh, I can't get enough breath, right? Whereas if I can smoothly and easily push my diaphragm down into my abdomen, it actually relaxes me, and I feel the whole back of my neck relax, and everything's good. But again, as soon as I hit that barrier, there's that instant kind of, oh no, this is not okay. Then I actually go into a lift mode. I have to try to lift my shoulders up to get a deeper breath, and I'm trying to compensate the fact that I can't get low, I can't really get a deep breath, and all I can do is kind of little shallow breaths up in the rib cage. If you're relating with me on this, then we need to really pay attention. Now, some of it is, we're not going to solve this today, but you need to go back to the first 3 weeks, especially when we talked ergonomics and bras and tension and all of those things. Go and get some massage to open up. This is why massage therapy can be so profoundly transformative to your health and wellness, because it can open up this, it can help stop this panic button that's being pushed between the breath, the lack of breathing, and not being able to get a deep breath. Huge issue here. Now, there are other things that that can kind of trigger the panic button, of course. And if we're already have our stress level up and our panic, so what we're going to do now is we're going to use some of our therapeutic breath technique to kind of learn how to regulate or control or modulate that panic button, so that I can sort of stop this constant low-grade panic that's going on, okay? So I'm going to, again, do some listening breath and really invite the breath volume, and invite my mind to feel that volume and feel that good oxygen coming in. And I'm going to identify a panic button somewhere in my brain, okay? And this is just this little red panic button. And right now it's gone in this it's getting punched all the time. And so I'm going to breathe into wherever that is, in that panic button. Sometimes I feel like it's in the back of the neck, part of the parasympathetic nervous system is crunched, and it's not shutting that off. But anyway, there's lots of different ways that we can interact. There's a lot of detail. We know a lot about the body, and you can learn a huge amount of information about the body. And the more you learn about that, and you can start to engage your mind into that and say, okay, I want to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, or I want to shut down the sympathetic nervous system. But right now we don't have to know all those details. We can just say, okay, there's a panic button and I want to calm it down, okay? And so this is some of the things that we can just play with breath and recognize that as we interact between the brain and the body, and we can help it out here. Okay, so work with me on this one, engage with me on this. So I'm going to inhale and feel that wonderful deep breath. And I'm going to feel that oxygen coming in, and I'm going to really feel oxygen saturating, flooding in to the body, all the way down to my toes, all the way out to my fingers. Oxygen flooding into my brain and my eyelids. Okay, I'm really getting good oxygen. I'm imagining that in. So now we're already, if the panic button is connected to oxygen, we're already softening the impact there by just really inviting and imagining that come in. Now, if physically, again, I'm going to say, if physically you can't get a deep breath and your brain knows that you're not getting a deep breath, that's where you go in and work at it. And if you have to spend the next month or 2 months just focusing on going to get some body work, getting Aston patterning work, seeing a chiropractor, whatever it takes to go in and get some massage, to go in and open all this up and help you get a deeper breath. Now, if you've had injury, chest injury, my wife has scoliosis, and there's, her rib cage is all torqued, you're only going to get so far with that. So what I'm saying is you still need to learn to do this kind of breathing, because we need to be able to interact with whatever we've got. Like I said, my wife's rib cage is torqued. She can't get a deep breath. Now she keeps working on it, and this work that we've been doing, she's been doing the program with you guys. I'm doing the program with you. She's doing the program, and she's actually been feeling some really benefit to her breath volume, and it's making changes in her rib cage. But so even though she's getting changed, she has less volume than she should have, and she knows it, and her brain knows it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to inhale, and I get that oxygen again, and just revisit the oxygen pouring into the body. Oh, that wonderful oxygen. Now, I'm going to reach up into, imagine that there's a little bit panic button in the brain, and I'm going to pay attention to that little button, and I don't like the image of a button. Let's see, what can we play with? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use that calm water, the pond, and the surface of a water. And this state of panic is obviously going to create. So I'm going to ask my brain to give me the image of what is my state of panic right now. And I'm going to just, if I'm not panicked, it will just be a nice smooth surface. If I'm panicked, it'll have all kinds of ripples. Okay, so I'm going to breathe in to wherever that panic system is in the brain, and I'm going to have it show me the ripples. Okay, and I've got some ripples in there. So now I've got that image. I'm connecting to my wherever that is, my state of panic, and I'm going to go. Okay, I'm going to help calm that down. Right. So now I'm going to breathe an action breath and have that nice smoothing out of that calm, peaceful water. Okay, and now you know what just happened for me is something just let go. And I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is, but I'm going to allow that letting go to go out of me with an exhale. Okay. And here is again where we start to connect with using some oils like our release oil or something like that to help us let go. And we'll be doing a lot more of this tomorrow. And yes, tomorrow and the next day, and we'll be letting these things go, these places and areas and times and memories and hurts and pains and struggles and threatening and fearful and all these things that can be trapped in the body and trapped in the lungs and trapped in our field. We can let those go. Oftentimes we have to identify them. We don't have to necessarily dwell on them. We can just identify that they're there and let them go. So this little exercise I just did with the panic, we're going to do that one more time. So breathing into the pond, or breathing into the panic system of the body, of the brain, and imagining that pond. And you know what? It's already back to having some ripples, because that's a physiological state somewhere in there. My stress level is already, got it agitated. So I'm going to breathe another action breath to calm that water. And every time I do that, I feel that little woo, that little something letting go. I'm going to assume it's stress hormones. I'm going to assume, why? And actually I'm tearing up. It's interesting, when the body wants to get rid of stress hormones, you cry. Okay, you cry. The tears are loaded with stress hormones. So whatever that is, and I don't have to know what that is or was, but I'm already feeling my eyes water, and the stress hormones are going to come out. That's one of the mechanisms the body uses to get rid of the stress hormones, is through tears. It's okay to cry. Even if you're a guy watching this with me, it's okay to cry. Those stress hormones come out through the tears. Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time because I'm getting good results with this. And I'm going to breathe into that pond. Imagine it. It's a lot calmer now. So whatever those 2 releases were, it's helped me. But again, I'm going to breathe one more calming breath into that little pond. And feel that. See, I don't have any more whooshes happening, so I think whatever I did with that's going to be good enough for today. All right, so that's really our only lesson for today, that connection between breath and panic. We've got to work and continue to work on breath volume, watching our posture, things like bras and belts and clothing, watching our attitude. Our attitude can affect our posture. I'm all mopey. There's so many of those things that we can start paying attention to, and it's very important. It's why I'm starting our whole wellness program with the breath. If we don't get a good, clean, deep breath, and then we're going to end up with this panic button constantly being pushed at some small level or big level, depending. Okay, so this is this opportunity to really work on this and use a method here of breathing to get our love category going. So just in the context of love category, I'm going to do one more thing for myself, and you can do this for yourself, is I'm going to invite that love. Whatever my brain body just went through, I'm feeling like it's, again, I mean, whatever it is, I don't care what it really is. I don't need to know the details, but it's going, and something happening. So I'm going to breathe this love. I'm going to bathe my whole body and my whole brain and my whole being in God's love. I'm going to breathe that love in. God is never withholding love. He's not sitting back in the background saying, I'm not going to send any love to you right now. No. He is showering us constantly with love all the time. All we have to do is invite it in, accept it. So we have that. I'm going to just allow that love to come in and fill up my whole body, and then even in my field around me, enveloped in this warm light of love. Okay? I hope this has been useful for you. It's okay to get out your release oil or any other oils that you like to help boost and encourage. We know that the sense of smell is definitely can be very useful in helping with the mood, and so any of those oils you want to use for that, great. We're going to be doing getting even a little bit more hardcore tomorrow and the day after about clearing some of these blocks, some of these instances. When we have instances in our lives, whether they're physical or emotional, where we've had an impact, if it's physical, if it's an emotional shock, we don't breathe, we stop our breathing. And when we stop our breathing, it anchors that stress and trauma into the body, into the tissue. We are going to use breathing tomorrow to release those past traumas, and we'll invite our oils to help us boost that. But join me tomorrow, and be brave. It might be tough. It's okay to cry, and we're going to do this. So happy wellness.